Hello, my loves. Hello, hello, hello. My name is Dustina. This is Spiritual Boujee Astrology, and we're going to take a deeper look at the full moon in Sagittarius. Now, I'm recording this on the afternoon of June the 10th. What I had said in the Week Ahead podcast is that I wanted to meditate in this energy before I did the full moon video, and I have done exactly that. We're right about 24 hours into Jupiter in Cancer, not quite. We are over 24 hours into the moon being in Sagittarius. And the perfection of the actual full moon will happen overnight tonight from the 10th going into the 11th, depending on your individual time zone. For me, it's 2:42 a.m. Central Standard Time. So for some people, it's going to actually be on June the 10th, depending on where you're at in the world. When I was meditating on this vibration this morning, I'd seen different patterns of shifts forward while also like seeing the turning points of where certain vibrations no longer need to be responsible. So I'm going to make this very light in regards to some of the examples that I shed now. Think of whenever you graduated high school. For some of you, if you're really young, you have not graduated yet, but you've at least gone from like one school to another, something like this. You had to go through the process of school. We had to get everything earned and achieved. And our final achievement is a little piece of paper that opens so many doors. The diploma. We graduated. The graduation in and itself is an ending. Something came to a close. But also not just the idea of school itself, but all the patterns around going to school. And what starts to open up afterwards in this level of a completion is the next forms of opportunity into our new normal. Key little note there. I've been talking about us going into a new normal for a while. And this is a very mundane example as to what we're looking at. You graduate from school. Moving forward, the plan is, do we travel, go to college, go straight to work at the family farm, start our own business? What now? What do we do now? And I feel like a lot of the vibration over the course of the last month and a half has been exactly that. What do we do now? And there's something about this full moon because it does tie into that actual square between Saturn and Jupiter, closing out a series of energies that go all the way back to last summer. I feel like there's something that speaks to a closeout. We no longer have the same obligations, the same responsibilities, the same patterns that we were doing before. You no longer have to get up at the crack of dawn, make sure you get to school on time. You graduated. But there's also that vibration of the new beginning. What now? What's next? And a lot of us are at that starting point. And I kind of talked about that even in the Week Ahead podcast going into this week, of like this week feels like the flick of the first domino. Now, some of us have spent weeks lining out our own dominoes, and we know exactly what the pattern is supposed to fall into if everything goes to plan. But some people, you're going into this blindly. You have no idea what you're about to start, but you're ready to see the things that unfold naturally from here. And the thing about Sagittarius is it's ruled by Jupiter. And Jupiter can be a representation of hope, healing, the doctor, the guru, the teacher, those that give us guidance, those that give us support. Many of us are going into this full moon with the idea of guidance, either guiding someone else or being guided, having some type of inspiration in that guidance, some additional level of support. Hey, you're done with school? You can come work with me. You can come over here for a little bit. I got an idea. You can do this. Go to this job, go to this place, go in this direction. Travel down here, come this way. And just this one spark moment, this one little spark in the idea allows for a natural effect of dominoes falling into a new placement, falling into the new direction, creating a new dynamic, creating a picture based off of how everything falls. Now, again, some people are going into this blindly. And there can be just a lot of hope around this full moon. That hope that I'm finally completed something. I have finally overcome something. I am finally ready to heal for something. I am no longer allowing something to hold me back, someone to hold me back. I do not want to feel oppressed, suppressed anymore. I want to feel solid. I want to feel safe. I want to feel cared for. The ruler of this full moon again is Jupiter, and Jupiter has just entered Cancer. What I love about this is Jupiter in its exaltation. It's a very exuding, I want to feel good, I want to feel cozy, I want to feel mobile and fluid and just let it just happen. Jupiter is full steam ahead for the majority of the rest of this year. That means a lot of the things that we are starting right now have the ability to go well. There are turning points in the vibration that certain people and certain things are no longer responsible for us. In some ways, we are no longer taking responsibility for certain people. We no longer have the same levels of ties. It's an amicable divorce. For some of us it's just hate. That's different. For this example, it's an amicable divorce. You go your way, I go mine. I'm happy for you. I'm proud of you. I want you to do well. I'm going to do the same. Don't worry about me. Things are fine. And we have a split. This is what's best for everybody. This is what's best for me. This is what's best for our family. This is what's best moving forward. And there is a lot of energy that speaks to the dynamics of family. Whenever I was going through here and I was paying attention to the location, a lot of the chart rulers, a lot of these are in some way tied to the fourth house, or transits are tied to the fourth house. So there's so much of this that speaks to like a responsibility shift around families. Jupiter is then the sign of Cancer. That also speaks to the vibration around families and home life and what certain things will mean moving forward. Some of us have big dreams and aspirations in this vibration. But for us to achieve those dreams, we also need our home life to be solid. We need our family to feel supported. We need to feel supported by certain members of our family. And that's a big possibility. For others, you're creating a new family. You're walking away from that old dynamic. They want to judge you. They don't like what you're doing. They don't agree with you. Everything you do is wrong. Okay, I'll find a new family. I'll create a new family. The thing about family, with many years of experience now, there's a family that you're born to, and there's a family that you choose. Many of us are going into a dynamic where we're going to start to find the family that we choose, the family that chooses us. Now, that doesn't speak and take away from the levels of independence that many of us are being driven to take on. But independence only goes so far. There's still the need for support. There's still the need for hope and care and consideration. We move into new directions with the hope that everything will work out for the best. Now, For some of us, that will be a pipe dream. I don't really want to get into that part quite yet. We're at a point where we're meant to be doing something new moving forward. And how big or how small that is going to vary for everybody. For some people, it's purchases and it's something so small and it doesn't even feel like such a big thing. You have no idea that by investing that money into something, the ripple effect, the full domino effect all the way down, is that purchase could lead to a business. That purchase could lead to meeting your soulmate. That purchase leads to something bigger, something greater. But in the moment, it's a bicycle. Just going off of that. It's a bicycle. You don't realize how big that new hobby is going to be for your health. You don't realize how big that moment is going to be in the long run and the people that it brings into your life, because in the moment, it's just a purchase. It's the most mundane, small thing. One of the things I tend to do the most whenever I do a one-on-one session with people is they'll be like, I haven't had some big thing. I didn't have some turning point. We will go back through the dates. And I'd be like, there's your turning point, babe. That right there. That's what is the ripple effect to your new direction. You're so close to it, you can't see what it's doing. And you don't realize what's unfolding around you and what it's releasing you from and what you're able to walk away from and where you're able to go next. You don't realize how big those moments are until you're forced to take the step back and see the full picture from start to finish. And something gets lined out for you to see it. So one of the things I do the most in my sessions is like helping people line out what they've actually been going through, because as much as I'll say something in the podcast, you guys are so close to it. You don't even see it. You don't realize how big it is, how small it is, how that one situation of that one time of day actually rounded into something, but it did. And whenever it comes to the vibration between the two lunations in June, both of them, this full moon in Sag, as well as that next new moon, which will be in Cancer, which is 2 weeks away. It's on June 25th, not July, June 25th. They're both very associated with Jupiter. Over the course of the vibration around this one right here, we have to let something go. We have to complete something. We have to release something, knowing that the release allows for the transition into the new. Now, for some people, letting something go is the hardest thing you ever do. And I don't care how big or small it is, you cry at the donation box at Goodwill. I loved this sweater for so long. Baby, that sweater has not fit in 20 years. It is time to let it go. But I got memories. Baby, let it go. I don't care how big or how small it is. Sometimes you got to let it go. You have to make the space so something else can feel good, grounded, solid, capable. So you can have the room for whatever new needs to come through. Sometimes making the space means releasing certain people. I'm not saying you're doing it all in this moment. Over the course of the last few months, the first half of the year, we can just say the whole timeline, there has been agitation, rips, breaks, disruptions to make space. And for some people, the vibration around this full moon can actually speak to one final round of making space, but it doesn't have to feel harsh. It can be amicable. I'm happy for you. I'm going to do my own thing now. We did this together. Now it's time to do the next step. It's time to do the next part. And our next part might not be together. I got my own stuff to do. You need to do your stuff. And the vibration of the split that will start to come through over these next few weeks will encompass even more like that supportive new beginning, That is also a part of these next few weeks. And that's why I always speak so much to whenever we're in a bigger vibration versus just one particular day and one particular transit. That's the human effect. The bigger vibration has the ripples around the human effect. I can tell Jupiter's in my ninth house because I feel like I'm just educating a bunch of people right now. But it feels hopeful. It feels solid. As individuals, it feels solid. As a collective, it feels eye-opening. The way that people will see things, feel things, desire things over the course of these next few weeks, very much being heightened in the vibration around this full moon. It's going to create a turning point in the energy where certain people will no longer accept people in positions of power, people in positions of authority, people that feel like they're the boss over everybody, remaining in control. There is power in people. There is power in the masses. There is power in beliefs. Unified beliefs, not forced and impressed beliefs. That is not meant to be political, and I know some of you are going to take it that way. You would be very surprised on how universal this statement is right now. So many people are fed up and tired of having things forced down their throat, forced into the conversation. We're hitting a tap out point where now it's time to really start to focus on caring as individuals and how we heal the wounds, how we heal the trauma, how we heal our families, how we take new steps in our healing process, how we help others in their healing process, knowing that we're creating something new that encompasses more than just one area of our life. It is healing the foundational timeline, the foundational decisions and groundwork for a direction, for a path, for this chapter of our lives. In the most mundane sense, you can do something very, very small. In the bigger picture, in the bigger sense, there can be a direction, there can be a path, there can be more that meets the eye on so many levels. And this full moon does not have to be heavy. I don't really feel like it is. I feel like for a lot of people, we can have a boost of confidence that immediately leads to where we need to be putting our energy to be productive and how we do go in those next step forwards. And if we take our uncle's job, or if we decide we're going to drive across the country, or if we decide that we're going to go to another country, or we're going to go work for our dad, or we're going to start a business on our own, whatever that is, I feel like it's that connection to a bigger vibration. It is the first domino. And it is more than just the energy around a full moon. I hope you're in the hopeful energy. I hope things are lining out to work well in direction for you in that level of path. There's a hopefulness in the vibration. Take advantage of that if you can. That's the big if, really and truly. Okay. If you have never heard a full moon or new moon video, that is perfectly okay. The way I read the astrology is I don't care if your ascendant is at 2 degrees or 22 degrees, whatever zodiac sign your ascendant is in, that entire sign is your rising sign. It is your first house. And then every numerical house that follows will be associated with the next zodiac sign. If you do not know your rising sign, I do suggest listening to your sun sign, of course, moon signs if you can, because sometimes a moon sign can be different since the moon changes signs every 2.5 days. But the whole idea is that way people can get a very big holistic perspective. If you want to listen to both your rising sign and your sun sign, that is honestly one of the biggest suggested things that I could do for you. So moving along, we're going to get into the charts. We're going to get into Aries and Aries rising. So this is a full moon in your ninth house, higher education, higher learning, travel, doing something out of the box, learning through an experience. Now, when it comes to the rest of this week, Saturn is squaring Jupiter. Saturn is in your first house. You might be making a judgment call this week about how something is going to move forward, about something within your own family, something around your mother, something around the family around you. It could be about somebody else's family. For some of you, we might look at doing something that requires travel. The ninth house is a travel house. This can also have disruptions around children. Why do I say that? Because Mars is wrapping up its trip through your fifth house of love, luck, joy, romance, happiness, and children. But a lot of the responsibility of whatever's unfolding right now is falling onto you. A lot of the frustrations that can be coming around the family can be because of you, depending on how you have been dealing with these first little bits of Saturn and Neptune in your first house. Now, some of you might be making the judgment call that it's time to walk away from certain individuals, and that might mean moving into your own place, getting a roommate, wherever you're going to go next. There's certain things that need to be revealed specifically over the course of the next few weeks to really make this happen. Now, some of the decisions that you're going to be making right now, I'm going to be honest, they will not stick, because over the course of the next month, Saturn and Neptune are going to go retrograde. Now, in parts of the decisions that are starting to unfold right now, you could be making the decision to no longer be a part of, to no longer support, to no longer connect with certain people. Saturn and Neptune are in your first house. So that is your mind, your body, your identity, your decisions. And you might not like some of the responsibility that has recently fell onto you. And you might be telling certain people, I ain't the one. I know I've said that before, but you got the Tower card. So let's talk about it. The Tower card is the only card in the deck that truly represents a structure. Jupiter, the ruler of this full moon, is in your fourth house of home, home life, and family. We also had a Mars retrograde earlier this year in your fourth house of home, home life, and family. What you thought your family dynamic was a year ago likely is not the same. Your home life dynamic is not the same. It has changed immensely. And you could be making the decisions finally, or the judgment could be getting placed against you finally, depending on where you're at, that moving forward, we cannot allow things to continue the same. So we have the Death card following this Tower card. The other thing we have is this Knight of Wands. So these are our first three cards: Tower, Death, Knight of Wands. Something is coming to a close, whether you choose it or not. There can be an actual death. There can be the removal of certain people. There can be the disconnection based off of what is starting to unfold. And this will allow for a new path to become clear because of that Knight of Wands. Whether that is a new path in the way that you see family, or if that is a new path in the way that your family is going from here. There is a different focus either on you or on the family as to what is going on right now. Now, some of you, this might have to do with your own personal care or the wellness and care of a family member. That part is going to be a little bit different for everybody. And some of you are going to have to wait for certain things to get revealed. This is the Moon card. Jupiter just went into Cancer. We are talking about a full moon in Jupiter's sign. We're about to go into Cancer season. A lot of the turning points in this vibration are setting the stage for how a lot of this summer is going to go. This can be setting the effect of how the next 6 to 12 weeks is going for you. That's going to bring up a lot of hidden emotions with the moon card. There's going to be a lot of things that need to come up to the surface that we were not anticipating with the moon card. Now, with this particular moon card, this also has a vibration that speaks to like looking like an eclipse. This is why I say the 6 to 12 week span, because at the end of the 12 weeks, we're going to go through eclipse season. Now, if you are starting the vibration of making the decision as to like, this is where I live now, this is who my family is for the time being, even if it's just a roommate situation, you can be surrounded by the right people right now with this 3 of Cups. This is a very celebratory card. It's a fun card. It's a happy card. Like we want to do something that speaks to personal happiness. And a lot of you are doing some things very, very much on your own. 9 of Coins. The 9 of Coins is very much a boss bitch card. These are the seeds that I have sown. This is the crops that I have grown. This is the market. This is the money that I have made on my own by selling all of that. Hard work at the market. The responsibility of certain things falling onto you can lead to long-term benefits if you use the vibration well. It's a wonderful vibration for starting a family business. It's a great vibration towards creating a new function and a new way of doing things within the home life, within the family. And given the fact that we also have that Uranus-Mars square, the same time we have the Saturn-Jupiter, so that's going into this coming weekend, most exact on the 15th, but human effect, it's a part of the entire month, let's be clear. Uranus is in your 2nd house of money, squaring your chart ruler, Mars. The excitement can lead to a whole different shift in routine, whether that is about health. For some of you, it will be about health when Mars goes into Virgo. For others, it is going to be a new way of taking care of yourself and taking care of other people in a work sense. And we're going to need to create something new. You're going to ruffle some feathers in that creation, but that doesn't mean that what you're doing next is wrong. For some of you, this is going to be heavy. For others, it is going to feel like it's the right place, the right time. I'm doing what I'm supposed to. You'll know it whenever you're in it. All right. Moving along. We're going to get to Taurus and Taurus risings. All right, my loves. Your chart ruler is finally in your 1st house. So you are not as much in the situations as you were before about being in uncharted territory, but you know that uncharted territory and some of the decisions that you've made over the course of the last few months, or that were forced upon you over the last few months, are starting to impact you in a major way. Now, this is a full moon in your 8th house, which is a financial house. Death, debt, taxes, inheritance, shared assets, investments, your 401k, your insurance, all of that can be tied to that 8th house. The ruler of the 8th house is now in your 3rd house. In the most mundane way, you could be making a car purchase. You could be doing a repair on the car. You could be doing something in that regard. You can be investing money to go back to school and learn something. You can be investing money in your marketing in this level of strategy. You could be investing in someone in starting a home business. Now, why am I saying that part? Whenever we go through the Saturn-Jupiter square, we also simultaneously have the Uranus-Mars square. And some of you literally started to make decisions to do something more independently on your own last summer that are now coming to a peak, that are now coming to a turning point, especially in regards to how you make your money. And that Uranus-Mars square unfolding can be very overwhelming, but it can also put a lot of things into perspective as to whether you're putting your money in the right place or not, whether you're doing the right thing or not. Now, some of you, it's not investing in a home business. It's like, I'm finally paying off the home loan that I took out to be able to do all this work on the house. Like there was something there For some of it, it was a mundane thing, but a lot of you, it's more along the lines of a shift that allows either for closure, or it is going to allow for something to finally get understood differently whenever it comes to family. Because again, Jupiter is in the sign of Cancer. That has to do with families. Uranus is square to Mars. Mars is in your fourth house of home life, and family. There's so much of this vibration that speaks to Mars being important just as much as Jupiter. And it might take a few weeks for that to fully make sense to everybody. But some of you are going to finally realize why certain opportunities from the past were missed. We've got this Four of Cups energy. And I do specifically feel like certain energies from the past, why something didn't happen before, why something had to happen the way that it did, because it's created this new moment for now. It's created a healing vibration for now. It's created a moment that's specific to now. And what we're starting to uncover, what we're starting to understand, what we're going to start to heal from. Now we have this Page of Coins vibration. Now, for some of you, the 8th house full moon, it is going to speak to debt, taxes, inheritance, the money aspect. And the 5 of Coins can actually speak to that paying off of the debt, the payout of something, having an unexpected debt come through, having unexpected expenses come through. That's a big possibility. In other ways, it's more along the lines of trying to measure out, do I take on this moment or not? Do I take on the debt or not? Do I take on the problems or not? And some of you, you're not going to be able to handle it. We got the 7 of Cups energy. There will be some overwhelm in this vibration, just as much as there can be a push to finally make something happen and go in a different way. I'm not always a big fan of telling you guys to be stingy, because you're kind of already doing it on your own without anybody's help. But some of you, if you've got that family member trying to like get money out of you, this is where we have to tell some hard truths to certain people, because your stability is in the balance. We have the Queen of Swords and the 4 of Coins. These are your last 2 cards. The 4 of Coins is literally like keeping things too close to your chest, and that can be a stingy energy. I think in this regard, if we're having certain people come around saying, I have an issue with my car, I need to borrow some money, I got to fix this, something happened in my house, I need to fix this, I think you guys are going to have to put your foot down in a lot of ways and saying, like, I'm not an open source for you. I do the things that I can to help and care, but in a lot of ways, I'm not willing to continue doing certain things in the same way. Now, I will say also the 8th house can be a house in regards to secrets and affairs. And that can also be another thing, is that the family secret can come to light. Affairs can come to light. And these can create new disruptions within the family. And with Uranus square Mars and Uranus being in your first house, you can let something slip over the next few weeks, or you can like tell some kind of truth. I'm going back with this Queen of Swords energy that you've held close to your chest for a while. And it leads to that next unfolding of certain things that are going on in the family dynamics. You guys hold a lot of power right now with the Venus-Uranus energy in your first. You've had Uranus in your first for a while, but it's kind of wrapping up. So some of you are going to have to finally play some cards to make the next round of things happen for yourselves. Now, that can be in the business sense, but that can also be in the breaking of chains sense for other people. And again, a lot of this vibration can go all the way back to some of the things that have gone on since last summer that are finally at that turning point of what needs to be told to certain people, what needs to be understood, what needs to be released, what needs to be healed from, all the way through. Okay. Moving along. We're going to get to Geminis and Gemini risings. Oh, my loves. This is a full moon in your 7th house of relationships and partnerships and legal matters. We can be finally closing something out in regards to a partnership. We can finally be signing off on some kind of contract, and that leading into a financial gain, some kind of lawsuit leading into a financial gain. I am again looking at a 7th house full moon with Jupiter, the ruler of your 7th house, in your second house of money, newly in your second house. It's like, by finally agreeing to this agreement, to this contract, it requires a large kind of payout. It requires for something to finally happen. I'm also looking at that Saturn Jupiter square. God, your cards are coming out faster than everybody else's. For a lot of you, it has to do with the people in your surroundings. It can also mean by connecting with another person, they allow for a certain kind of level up to happen, an opportunity to finally fall into place, to finally let go of something from the past. Now, I will say the thing about Saturn and Neptune in your 11th house of friends is some of you are going to be like really idolizing certain people in your life. Others are going to find situations where other people are almost idolizing you and trying to over romanticize certain energy. And some of you are going to find yourselves letting them know, hey, again, I ain't the one. This ain't the thing. Now, that does not have to be specific to this full moon. It could have happened the days before or the days afterwards. This center of June, between June 8th and June 25th, it's all very tied together. But I would be very, very aware of some of the people that you are allowing into your surroundings, because some of those people, either you could be over romanticizing and they should be nothing more than a friend, or friends can have a crush on you. And again, you're going to have to put them in their place and be like, no, this is your zone. It's called the friend zone, babe. Now, some people are not going to like that. And some people are going to feel like that's a betrayal. Oh, I thought we were building something. I thought we were just taking it slow. I thought we were connecting. Nah, homie, this ain't my plan. This isn't what I want. Seven of Swords. And then we also have this Hierophant card. I have a different method. I have a different thing in mind. I've got different things that I'm working towards. I have different responsibilities. I have different goals. You ain't the one. I ain't the one. That's not a bad thing. I'm just telling you. There's something about this energy that can feel very over romanticized. And we might have to put specific people in their place, given the way some of this vibration is going to go. Now, that's if it has to do with people. Still kind of going off of that Hierophant card and all the tradition of that, I want to follow it up with this Ace of Cups. That again, we can finally have like some kind of legal thing or a partnership or a payout from another side that leads to like financial stability. We can actually have somebody in our surroundings. So following this Ace of Cups with this Three of Wands, somebody in our surroundings letting us know, hey, there's an opportunity over here. There's a potential over here. We're hiring over here. There's something going on over here. You should invest. You should come visit. You should check us out. You should look at something that can be a big empowerment as to like what you start to charge into going through the rest of the summer. So we're following the Ace of Cups, Three of Wands now with the Knight of Wands and the Strength card. The Knight of Wands is full steam ahead, all gas, no brakes, charge. I'm charging forward. I want to get something accomplished. I want to get something met. I want to put something into an order. The Strength card is very much a Leo card. Mars is in Leo. The Mercury retrograde that we're going to have next will be in Leo. There's a lot of things that speak to that Leo vibration, and the Strength card really kind of speaks to it as well. I'm looking at the timeline and the transits of Leo by saying this. And a lot of the things that are starting to connect right now, the people you're starting to connect with, the combinations of things, the coffees, the appointments, the sign-offs, the negotiations, whatever it is, can lead to something very, very new taking shape over the course of this month. And it's just a matter of letting things happen naturally. Some of you need to put some people in your surroundings in their place. Others, you need to just kind of listen to what opportunities are there, because they can start to take you into a different direction than where you have been. Some of you need to be prepared that over the course of this next year, your gear shift also means shifting industries. That's a big part of this next year for the Gemini risings. And that has to do with the fact that Uranus is about to come into Gemini. And that's going to be a very long cycle altogether, but it won't completely start until 2026. But that pinky toe dip this summer, it feels exciting. It's spontaneous. It's different. It will be eye-opening. That starts in July. But some of the connections you can be making right now can lead to that fun, new, spontaneous energy that will be unfolding over the course of the summer. So pay attention to your meetings right now. All right, moving along. Moving along to Cancers and Cancer risings. All right, my loves, this is a full moon in your 6th house of health, how you care for yourself, how you care for other people. The ruler of this full moon is in your 1st house. How you care for people can be literally gaining you some attention. How you like to connect with people can really put some more focus on you. It can become a priority for you. There is a shift that can be very, very public in a multitude of ways. For some of you, it's going to be very eye-opening. It's going to be very profound, and it's going to enable a whole different strength in the way that you see your career. For other people, it is going to start to eliminate certain fears and allow for a whole new way of your public image to start to take shape. This is a very interesting vibration because a full moon in your 6th house of health can literally mean a change in your health, and then how much care needs to be coming towards you with Jupiter now in your 1st house. That's one way to look at it. In other ways, it can also have to do with the work that you have done, where you're willing to put in your effort is now going to become a part of your identity. I was in real estate for years. Specifically, I was in home building. Trust and believe, whenever you get into the work that is meant to be your work, it becomes a part of your identity. If you've ever met a realtor, you know it because they told you, oh, I'm a real estate agent. I'm going to do this. Da, 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 da. And there's some people that literally whatever they do for their job, it is their identity. And whatever is starting to unfold is already unfolding. It is already a part of the energy. It is already in motion. For some of you, that means tackling some judgment and some frustration. Again, Saturn and Neptune are squaring Jupiter in your 1st house over these next few weeks. And the judgment of others can have a negative impact for you, as much as the permission or the decisions of others can lead to a positive impact. But a lot of what's starting to really unfold now, you're in the public vibration. And I warned about this for a while. Whatever is going to start to unfold is going to become very, very public for many of you. It's going to either be a part of that long-term plan, or for others, it is going to be a part of your identity. There's so much of it that speaks to this right now. So we have this Ace of Cups and we have this Devil card. Hear me out by putting these two together. Jupiter spent the last year in your 12th house of the unknown, the unseen, enemies. And it is now moving into your 1st house. Some of you are going to have to let go of certain people, or you're finally recognizing certain things that have been going on behind your back. Once they fall onto your plate, they're now changing parts of the idea of how you thought things were going to move forward. Some of you are starting to realize by letting go of an old part of yourself, Jupiter in the 12th now, it has now opened up new doors for how you move forward from here once Jupiter comes into your 1st. And for some of you, that means tackling some very harsh judgments. We do have the Judgment card too, by the way, based off of the square that we start Jupiter and Cancer with from Saturn and Neptune. Now, some people could have certain judgments in regards to like how you're moving forward from here, but not in a supportive light, but in a frustrating light, in things that don't necessarily feel true, in a toxic way. Fine, if you're not going to live under my house, under my rules the way I say, then you can leave. Deuces. Bye. I don't care. I'll leave. And a lot of the vibration speaks to a certain level of confidence that you need to have in yourself with Jupiter now in your 1st house. And it's going to attract a lot of attention towards you. And for some of you, it's going to be the attention based off of where you're putting in your effort, all the work that you have been doing. There can be negatives to that and judgment to that. That speaks through the cards too. Ace of Cups, Devil, Judgment card. These are the first 3 cards again. But not all of this needs to be so infuriating. We have the Chariot card, we have the Justice card, and we have the World card. Saturn and Neptune are in your 10th house of career and public image and your goals. The Justice card speaks to something coming into balance, something that is fair, something that is right for everyone. Many of you are going to be making certain judgment calls as to, like, I know you're not happy. And the thing that's going to make everybody, at least feel level is to make this fair decision. It's to make this fair conjunction. Some of you will be releasing certain things that have been going on behind the scenes because that is what is fair. And that speaks to the Justice card. And that is going to lead to a whole different round of exposure for many of you on public levels, not just in this full moon, like over the course of the summer. And that actually speaks through this World card. The World card is the last of the major arcana, but it is the full card after having gone through the lessons of the major arcana before we go into the suits. This is a ending of one chapter and the beginning of another. Jupiter is in your first. It is the beginning of another, a new part of your routine, a new part of your health, a new part of your future, a new part of your identity. And again, something that is meant to build a certain amount of confidence. And this Chariot card tells me whatever we are starting to finally work on, work through, and push forward to is already underway. It is already happening, and things are full steam ahead. As you go into this new, there will be some things that are very stressful. There are some things that are going to be very hurtful. There's going to be some things that really kind of make you feel judged at times, supported at others, but judged at times. The judgment will be short-lived because once you show your initial work, once you show you can do the job, once you show that this is what you are choosing to do right now, that level of disparity will start to shut up. And that's a good thing. Be aware of the decisions that you are making right now, the responsibility that you are taking on right now. And again, a new part of your identity is just starting to come out of the shadow. You can't even see it yet. You're not even familiar with who you are yet, but you will be. It's a new you for the rest of the year. Okay. Moving along. We're going to get to Leos and Leo risings. Oh, my loves, this is a full moon in your 5th house of love and luck and joy and romance and happiness and children. Jupiter is now in your 12th house of the unknown, the unseen, and endings. This is not necessarily a good feeling. This can be learning about something around your kids that feels like a betrayal, that feels like stuff that is underhanded. There could be something going on with a lover that, again, feels like a betrayal. It feels like something that is underhanded. That could be the negative side. There could be something going on with your kids that requires healing. Jupiter in the 12th. Uranus in your 10th house of career, making that square to Mars during this full moon week while the Saturn Jupiter square is going on, is there can be some very unexpected judgments, unexpected tensions, unexpected fighting that leads to bigger things in the long run, especially things that can immediately impact your money. That means having some type of fight and suddenly you don't have the same job anymore. Somebody got fired, having something going on in the workplace and you get unexpectedly laid off. And it takes a while to get a job going back. Like, that's the negative sense. In other ways, you can have an unexpected opportunity that allows for you to take a different position and allows for you to start to connecting to people differently over the course of the summer. It is not just the full moon. It's not. This is the energy that awakens us to the potential of a path. I would be very wary for a while of who we're trusting because there's going to be a lot of Cancer transits over the course of the summer. And you guys can either have a lot of things from the past that keeps being brought back up to the surface that you were not anticipating, that it also makes you feel judged. Or there could be stuff from people in positions of authority that it's like they're digging through your past. It's the ultimate background check for a while. It's like trying to find the thing that we didn't even realize was going to make a difference, that was going to make an impact. Oh, now for some of you, it can go well. The potential could be good. It could be strong. It could be capable. But for others, it's going to feel like a headache. It's going to feel like frustration. It's going to feel like fighting. And I'm not going to sugarcoat that. So you got the Five of Wands. This is a conflict card. Again, it is the Uranus-Mars square with you guys that I foresee the conflict. The Mars-Uranus square goes the most exact overnight hours, June 14th into 15th. So again, adjust for your time zone. I think for me, it was roughly around 2 a.m. on the 15th, which is Sunday. The whole time frame, the whole weekend, Thursday, Friday, all the way into like next Monday, Tuesday. Just be aware that that energy can either put you into a situation that feels like a fight or where you feel like you have to defend yourself, but it can be a motivator, good or bad, a motivator in regards to what is starting to happen. This Five of Wands feels like a conflict for a lot of people. And again, with the fact that so much stuff is going to go into your 12th house, certain people you need to be very reserved, very limited on who you give certain information to over the course of the summer, especially while we're heavy into the Cancer transits. That's going to be the second half of June and the first part of July. So before we get into the retrograde time frame. But it can feel like, again, that ultimate search for the unknown, the ultimate level of judgment. With Saturn being in that higher authority of Saturn's conjunction to Neptune, hitting that square to Jupiter as it starts into your 12th, there can be something that is starting with people from an institution, people from a higher level of authority, where they start looking into the past, looking into what you've been doing, looking into things around your kids, and again, bringing something up from the surface. So again, I would be very wary of who we give our information to with this Hermit card. Other people, the institution is going to be more along the lines of having to deal with, something around the kids or around a loved one. And snooping, sure, support and care can be the other. Treatments in a lot of different ways. And how we go through the process of healing something with Jupiter going through the 12th. That can be spoken on a multitude of levels. So after the Five of Wands, the Hermit card, and the Hierophant card, we're going to go to the Star card and the King of Cups and the Ten of Coins. It's not going to be negative for all of you. I would still be very wary of like the actions of other people. I would be a little suspicious, but I would not approach suspicion. Take note, let unfold naturally. Be strategic. Listen to your Scorpio rising bestie right here, okay? Be strategic. Take note. Let them do their things. Because it will show itself very, very quickly. And over the course of the summer, when we get into that Mercury retrograde, it's going to be in Leo. You are going to have to be forced to show some things, forced to make certain decision changes, opinion changes as to how things are starting to go from here. And that can be really good, Star card, in the long run. And it can actually lead to the financial aspects of like what the King of Cups, the opportunities that can come through, the potential of making more money. Like there can be a lot of potential in what arises, and that potential can lead to the healing, or there can be the disruption to your finances just as much as there can be the potential. As we go through these next few weeks between June 8th and June 25th, as those things start to unfold, that will make more sense of whether you're going the positive route or the negative route. But we are at a very key point in how the rest of the summer, the rest of the year, and all the way into 2026 is going to go. Very key point in our decision making. And if you can hold your temper, that's a great idea. Don't poke the bear. Some of you, I've said that to you individually, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. No need to poke the bear. Okay. Moving along. For Virgos and Virgo risings. All right, my loves, this is a full moon in your 4th house. Home life, family, roots, ancestry, mothers, matrons, genetics. A lot of people, whenever it comes to the 4th house, they don't think of genetics. That's not a normal thing. But it's too often that I have seen like people discovering something that they were prone to that they didn't know their mom was sick with something, in the childhood, that it coming up in their actual health. So I always include genetics with the fourth house too. Jupiter has went into your 11th house of friends, bringing home a friend. Let's go with that. Teaching a friend, again, something about that genetic aspect. Telling a friend something about your home life. Introducing a friend to a family member. Some of you are starting to have something change in your connections within the community. And for a lot of you, it is also going to reach financial levels. And there's going to be something that slides into place over the course of this month. Again, the most exact between the June 8th. Okay. June 8th and the 25th, not just this full moon. That is going to finally take you out of your hermit mode, because you have the hermit card. That's the first one that came out. And finally get you to a point where you can take certain actions to where you don't feel so stuck anymore. I warned before that when Mars was going through your 12th, a lot of you were going to be wanting to take certain actions and feeling like they weren't necessarily going to go anywhere. I think they're about to start to go somewhere. And for a lot of you, it is going to impact you financially because Mars rules Aries, that 8th house, death, debt, taxes, inheritance, shared investments, shared resources. There's a lot of financial elements there. And it is either going to be because of a death, worst case scenario, a new level of disruption and responsibility is going to fall onto you following this full moon, and it can have to do with family, or because of an opportunity that is, again, potentially going to have an impact towards the family, but it also creates a new set of motivations of things in and around you. And for many of you, it is going to take you out of that stuck mode that you have felt while Mars was going through your 12th. Now, Mars going through your 12th in a lot of ways, it has forced you to close some things off, finish some things out, like snip, 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 done, done, done. Some of you might even have to close some things off and finish some things off tied to family members. Some of you might be having to travel in this time frame to get some things lined out to, again, get you unstuck and shift your motivations into gear. I do not feel like in the immediate of the full moon, your gear shift happens. I actually feel like it's next week after the Jupiter-Saturn square is done and after the Mars-Uranus square is done, specifically when Mars comes into Virgo. So again, next week, I think that's the 16th, 17th. Humor me, I'm doing that part from memory because I'm letting intuition take over. Here it is. We have the Hermit card, we have the Hangman card, and we have the Hierophant card. Now, the Hierophant card, I'm more associating that with that Saturn, Neptune in your 8th house. And some of you are needing to either get something handled in regards to finances or in regards to someone's death. That's a real thing right now. That could even be very blindsiding to you, depending on how the situation is unfolding. The Hangman is we've been stuck dealing with something for a while, and we're waiting for a certain thing to happen so we can finally come out of the dark, to start taking certain actions, start moving something forward, start doing something. But you've already been working on this for a while. You're tidying these things up, you're wrapping a bow on this, you're doing this, and then you're allowing something to kind of come forward. And after the decisions, the commitments, the conversations are had over the course of this first half of June 8th to around 16th, 17th, that feels like one dynamic. But after Mars comes into Virgo, your dynamic feels very, very different. And it's like an epiphany. It's like a green light. It's like an awakening. It's like a direction. And the way that you're able to start moving forward with certain things from here feels like allowing so many things that we've worked on for a very, very long time, 7 of coins, to finally start to open up, to charge ahead, to release, because we have this Knight of Cups. We have the ability to follow something that in some ways speaks to our heart's content, but in other ways finally motivates us to move, to be seen, to move, to go. Green light, go, all gas, no brake. I've said this to a couple of signs now. I even said it once or twice in the week ahead forecast. I feel like we're setting the stage for something. And it could even be talking to a family member about their investment, about needing to borrow money, about making a purchase and doing something so that way we can start this next phase of our business, this next chapter of our life, this next part of our dynamic. But a lot of what's starting to unfold right now feels like finally pushing something forward so you can start to finally charge ahead. And again, it does feel like it is a long time coming. It feels like we've been doing this work for a while with that Knight of Cups, that Star card, and this Seven of Coins. Like, I feel like a lot of you have been doing some work behind the scenes that is about ready to be showcased and debuted very, very quickly. Okay, moving along. Moving along. We're going to get to Libras and Libra risings. Oh, my loves, this is a full moon in your third house, which is not hard. In and itself, it's not very hard. It's, short distance travel, something with siblings, communication, marketing, branding, socializing. There's going to be a lot of social energy with you guys right now. Your chart ruler is finally in a good place. You've got Venus in your 8th house. It's like, we had to do all this work over the summer. We had to deal with all these people over not the summer, over the springtime. And now it's like, okay, after all of that disruption, I want to see benefit. I want to see it benefit my public image. I want to see it benefit my career. I want to see it benefit me financially. With Venus now in the 8th house, I want to see that benefit financially. I want something to finally happen. Now, all in all, you might have to tell somebody, hey, I've been doing all this work. You got to pay me. That might come with some conflict. That might come with some frustrations. But you need to communicate to people your worth. Now, the ruler of this full moon, Jupiter, is newly in your 10th house of career. You need to communicate with people your worth. Now, in that square from Saturn and Neptune in your 7th house, the judgment of others can make a difference as to how your future is going to look, how your goals are going to look, how this part of your career is going to look. And for some of you, that's going to be a very quick thing of like, if you can't value me, then I will go somewhere else. And that can be hard. If you're going to act a certain way, I'll make another plan. I'll do something different. And that can literally put you in a position to where you're either creating some enemies over the course of the summer. There's reasons why I'm saying that part. Or it can put you into a point where you start making the active choices and decisions to take control of your goals, your career, your public image, your hopes and dreams for the future, and start making certain judgment calls to go in a different direction moving forward from here. So be aware of the vibration that you're putting out. Be aware of the people that you're surrounding yourself with, and be around to the judgment of others, because that judgment can really push some hard things going on. So let's be clear. I wanted to say this is going to actually be like a really great full moon for you guys. In some ways, it still can be. The harder aspect is the square between Saturn and Jupiter, because Saturn in that 7th house, it's legal matters, it's your partnerships, it's partners, it's other people. The 1st house is you, your mind, your body, your identity, but the 7th house is anybody and everybody else. It's me, it's your high school boyfriend, high school girlfriend, doesn't really matter. Your wife, your ex-wife, your ex-husband, it's the milkman, it's your boss, like it's anybody and everybody else. The judgment of another person, the frustrations around another person can feel like a vibration that speaks to conflict or betrayal. We have the 5 of Wands and we have the 3 of Swords. The Uranus-Mars square is also very important because Mars in your 11th house of friends can really mean like some of the judgments of other people are impacting the people that you surround yourself with. And it can lead to something in the long run that almost feels like betrayal. After the Mars-Uranus square is done, Mars is going to go into your 12th house, the unknown, the unseen enemies, hidden enemies. And you can be vibing with certain people that you don't even realize are going to turn into enemies. And this is why I put that 3 of Swords with the 5 of Wands. You can have a minute moment of conflict that leads to frustration, that leads to things feeling like betrayal over the course of the summer. So you guys need to be very aware of who you're trusting right now, because some of the initial conversations with certain people can literally turn them against you, your ideas, your process, and your progress. You might not see that clearly at first. And that's all going to come down to what you're trying to start right now. We have this Ace of Cups. This is actually the best card you guys have, honestly. You have the Ace of Cups, and it is tuned into this Wheel of Fortune. All in all, I love Jupiter in your 10th. I think that it has process and progress, and it can take you into this whole different scope as to how you see the future. For most of you, it can actually put a lot of alignment and a lot of promise and a lot of hope. And the Ace of Cups, Wheel of Fortune, you're trying to start something that, again, somebody else can be jealous of, somebody else can be judgmental of, somebody else can try to start to do things to hurt what you're doing. That doesn't mean you don't start it. Whatever you're wanting to start in this vibration that you're communicating, you're starting to market. Oh, I'm doing this now. I'm going over here now. I'm doing these things now. This is great. This has got promise. This has got potential. Let's do this. Yay. It does have promise and it does have potential. There is a lot in the vibration, but your promise can spark jealousy in others. And what I'm looking at is the ruler of your 7th house is going to spend 2 months in your 12th house of the unknown, the unseen, and enemies. The one thing about Scorpio risings is the ruler of our 7th is also the ruler of our 12th. That's our lifetime. That's why so many Scorpio placements deal with suspicion. I'm telling you to be suspicious, because your last 2 cards is the 10 of Wands and the Tower card. Be suspicious just as much as you are mindful, just as much as you are celebratory, just as much as you are charging head into something new, because you don't realize just what can be working against you by you just being happy in the moment. Be careful who you tell the good things to. You might wait a couple days before you post on Facebook that you got the new job, that you started the new thing. Just because when other people are going through hard moments, they can take your success as a slight against them, even though it has nothing to do with them. There's some way that people twist things in their mind. And that's what I need you guys to be prepared for and aware of, that your success, after doing all the work, after dealing with so many things, can really start to pivot your direction. That's in the positive sense. Now let's go with some negative senses. Some of y'all did screw up over the springtime during the Venus retrograde, because Venus is your chart ruler. And now it is leading to you having to pay some things out, and it is leading to a whole different level of judgment from other people. And there's some of you that you can't connect to the same people the same way anymore because they don't trust you. And if that's the case, you have to deal with whatever judgment you have created for yourself. That one's going to be harder. A lot of you people are not going to like to swallow that pill, and I understand that. But I'm being very, very real with you, Libra risings. Some of you were the problem this spring. Some of you weren't. If you weren't trying to be the problem, the judgment of others can be changing the direction, and it can put you into some uncharted territory. You need to be aware of what you're stepping into and who you are trusting right now. Just be suspicious of everybody, even the dog. Not really. Leave the dog alone. Anyways, moving along. We're going to get to Scorpios and Scorpio risings. Okay, my loves, we are not the problem. This is a full moon in our 2nd house of money, our assets, our stuff, the way that we make money, the way that we spend money. For some of us, making money and spending money means travel. It means going somewhere. We are going to be spending some extra money to go somewhere. The ruler of our 2nd house is now in our 9th house. That's higher education, higher learning, long distance travel. Some of us are spending the money to go to Europe, to go to the other side of the world, to go to the Bahamas, to go to Mexico, to go somewhere in a different place right now. That's a more positive light. And for some of you, that's going to open up in the long run new people, new connections, new parts of your career, the new ways of connecting to people. Why do I say that? Because Saturn square to Jupiter, Saturn is in your sixth house of health. How you care for yourself, how you care for other people, what you do in your routine. Parts of what you can do in your routine can also be putting you into a place where you are either teaching people something or you're going to some place to, again, experience and learn through new experiences. Over the course of the summer for Scorpio risings, this feels like a slow burning long-term energy, where other people, it doesn't feel like that. Now, Uranus in that seventh house of relationships and partnerships and legal matters is going to square Mars in your 10th house of career, the same time the Saturn-Jupiter square happens. Some of you might be meeting some people unexpectedly, and either they can start to shift the direction of how you connect to people, because after the Uranus-Mars square, Mars is going to go into your 11th house of friends, network, clients, and colleagues. They can shift a direction and offer a multitude of opportunities, or they can shift the direction and result in certain things coming to a close, coming to an ending, some things coming to a harsh reality. It really kind of comes down to who we're letting in, who we're trusting, who we want to talk to, who we want to work with, who we are letting in at this moment. Some of you, Uranus and Venus now in your seventh house, because Venus is newly there. There's a legal matter that's impressing the direction of the future. There is the judgment of another that's impressing the direction of the future and how things are going to go, where you're going to call your work home now, what you're doing in your routine. And again, it is either going to put you into places where you're learning through new experiences, because now Jupiter is in the ninth, and we go through that Saturn-Jupiter square, or here's the bigger or, there's something that puts you into alignment with the next level of direction. Some of it can be harsh, the level of judgment whenever Saturn-Jupiter square happens. For others, it can be enlightening and directional. And I need people to be prepared for both. Now, we have the Emperor card. This is very much a Saturnian card, somebody that is set in their ways, a desire, an action that leads to something additional kind of following up. And again, there can be some new truth and new opportunities that follow. We have this Ace of Swords vibration followed by the Seven of Cups. Now, for some of us, that is going to mean overwhelm. That is going to mean by certain things lining up, by certain opportunities, it's like that one door opened 20 doors and like, whoa, I didn't even know that you knew that many people. I didn't know that there was that many options. I didn't know what I didn't know. But it leads to something. The most mundane sense right now is like the full moon in the second house of money is like we're either purchasing something, selling something, doing something financial that speaks to that Jupiter in the ninth. So travel, higher authority, distance, something along these lines. But the other elements happening simultaneously means this one little decision is going to open up a slew of other doors that we need to be prepared for. So we have that Emperor card, and I feel like there is somebody that puts themselves in a position that they can offer something. We also have this Fool card, and we have this Knight of Coins. Some of the initial offers that are starting to unfold over the course of June, they will be short-lived. They will make you rethink your plan, your trajectory. They will make you rethink part of the focus. And not everything is going to stick because of this 10 of Swords vibration. For some of you, you're going to do something for the last time, sell something, be completely done with it. I don't need a dirt bike anymore. I can go put that money elsewhere. I could do something else. And it is by letting something come to a close in the full moon, other things are now able to begin. For you, it speaks to connection, community, experience, clients. There is growth in this potential. And for many of us, it feels like the opportunity based off of an offer, based off of a connection, based off of something new coming through. And it's not specific to the full moon. It feels, again, just in that timeline, the June 8th to the June 25th timeframe, it feels like opportunity comes in this area. And many of you, you feel like the doors are opening, but you don't know what's inside. You don't know who just opened the door. I think we're getting to a point following this full moon that we can start to see who just opened the door for us, or who is extending those offers, like what's going on here. And we're going to be hesitant because it's us to trust, and that's fair. And some of us is either going to allow for some things to finally close out and be done with, while for others, it is going to create new long-term opportunities by accepting it. And you're going to be overwhelmed in the moments. And you just need to be cautious, careful, dot your I's, cross your T's. Be you. But know that we're meant to start connecting to people differently after we get through this vibration of the June 8th to the June 25th. Okay, moving along. We're going to get to Sagittarius and Sagittarius risings. You are the problems. It's all your fault. Not really. It's not a negative thing. A full moon in your first house is something that impacts you, your mind, your body, your identity, you. Your chart ruler just moved into your 8th house of money. Your money. Not necessarily always your money. Shared money, shared assets, shared resources, death, debt, taxes, inheritance. Coming from a Scorpio rising that has just dealt with Jupiter in the last year in my 8th house, you can either be the person that creates all of the debt, or you could be somebody that starts to channel this energy to create new ways of making money. Considering this full moon starts right as Jupiter goes into that placement, I highly suggest using it as your new ways of making money. And considering it's still in that conjunction to Mercury, we've had this turning point in the vibration of like, what sets the stage for going into the next eclipse season? Do it as a way to find new ways of making money. Shifts in your routine, if you can. Not all of you are going to get the chance to do that. Now, for some of you, we also have to take into account that Saturn-Neptune square from your 5th house of love, luck, joy, romance, happiness, and children. Your kids can be creating new expenses. Your kids can be why there are new expenses, why we're having to deal with something financially. Are we having to deal with some type of legal matter? Are we trying to deal with something with child support? Are we having to deal with something with the insurance companies of why they're not wanting to cover the kids' surgeries or dentistry, something like this? There can be something that is a bit of a headache, that it just kind of teaches you something. It shows you something. It impacts you and your stress level. It tells you whether you're going to have to, be additionally responsible for something. And you're going to have to pay the extra money for something. For some of you, you're going to be paying a school. You'd rather send your kid to a private school than a public school. The Uranus-Mars square is the other reason why I say the school part. Mars is in your 9th house, which is higher education and higher learning. Some of you might be making a split-second decision that, nope, I'm not going to go to public school anymore. This is not working out. They're not learning. They're not getting what they need to do. I am making the very real hard decision right now to just foot the bill, put the money together, put it to the side, and you're going to that school. You're going to go to the big school. You're going to go to the other school. You're going to go to the school that costs me $5,000 a year. $10,000 a year. Hopefully it's not enough, but still. I've seen tuitions for some private schools and they can be like very reasonable and others be like crazy high. But many of you in this full moon, you are making some kind of decision. Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords, there is no emotions behind swords. It is logic. It is logical. You are making a logical decision to change something, to do something different. Now, some of you are going to have to deal with the other aspects of the 8th house, and that is having debt, income, money, start to shape your person and your identity differently from here. For others, how a death, because it is the 8th house, is starting to shape your person from here. Transformation. A year of transformation that is triggered in this full moon. And again, the Queen of Swords. You guys might be making certain logical decisions in a moment, not realizing just how much is being triggered, invested, needed. Keep this going. We have the Three of Coins, and we have this Magician card. Something in these few days could have like brought some kind of information into focus that is forcing you to make this decision. I don't think that you would have made this decision a month ago. I think it has been very, very recent as to like what has been revealed with that Magician's card and where you're going to have to put your focus moving forward with the Three of Coin, where you need support, what's going to be the right thing to do, where you should be investing your money based off of what has happened with another person, how it is going to force you to start taking on some additional expenses. I'm looking at the potential of the negative aspect, or it's because of the relationship, the partnership, the situation with another person, that it has created the new opportunity, financial opportunity that is starting to unfold again between June 8th and June 25th. Some of you, it's good connections. For others, again, you're going to have this expenses. So we have the Three of Cups, we have the Four of Coins. The Four of Coins is like keeping your cards close to your chest, keeping your money close, like making sure you always got a hand on your wallet. Like you're not doing a whole lot in that regard. But Three of Cups is a celebratory card. It's like by having the right people around you, it is allowing for something else to take shape, something else to unfold. And ultimately, we have this last card, and it is the Ten of Cups. By being connected to the right people, by allowing for whatever opportunity has just unfolded, that it's just kind of taken shape, it is allowing for the potential of future promise and future hope in regards to where you're going next in career. A lot of you are going to be doing some things that really change the way that you make money over the course of the rest of the year. And it is based off of the recent decisions or the decisions that are unfolding around us right now and how they start to impact you and this new way of making money, because it is your chart ruler, Jupiter, in your 8th house. Shared assets, shared resources, death, debt, taxes, inheritance, investments. For many of you, you are making a decision to start investing in yourself differently moving forward from here. And that can be magnanimous if you use this energy correctly. Okay, moving along. Moving along. For Capricorns and Capricorn risings, this is not as fun for you guys. This is a full moon in your 12th house of the unknown, the unseen, endings, betrayal, hidden enemies, having some uneasy things being brought back up to the surface, things being brought up from the past. Considering your chart ruler, Saturn, is now in your 4th house of home life, and family, it can be about a family member. It can be about your childhood. It can be about something with your children, something that is being triggered based off of the home life or because of a family member. And there can be something that really starts to shift our focus as to like where we want to be in partnership moving forward, who we want to be with, especially with the fact that Jupiter, the ruler of your 12th house, is now in your 7th house of relationships and partnerships. Let's talk about the negative aspect. The negative can be you get blindsided by somebody that completely changes your idea of home life, that completely changes the promises that you feel like you can make. It completely changes whether you can trust certain people or not. That would be the negative. Here's the positive. You can be blindsided by somebody from the past that offers a new direction, a new hope, a new opportunity that shows you a different way to go. And if you take this path, it can allow for promise. Now, the one thing about the second half of this year for a lot of placements is a lot of placements are going to be changing industries. Some of you are going to be start doing business from home. Saturn in your 4th house, you're going to start doing some kind of business with a family member, with someone that you would call family. So remember, some of us choose our family versus just the family that we have by blood. And if we start to see a different direction, a family business with our husband, with our children, with a person that we care about, it might allow for us to finally close certain chapters of insecurity and start learning something new, learning through new experiences, going into a new direction. The key timeline here is June 8th through the 25th, and we're still right at the start at this full moon. And you might have a lot of flooded emotions come through based off of how another person is behaving. That can be good or bad. That can be the most romantic thing that you've ever dealt with in your life by this person, and they just like it heals everything just as much as it can be that is the biggest asshole in the room, and I don't even know why I'm with him. I don't even feel like I can trust him. Full moon in the 12th. It can be good, it can be bad. There can be things that get brought up to the surface just during the full moon. But all in all, the full element of this energy between the 8th and the 25th feels like a part of the shift in direction. It feels like a new connection. It feels like new opportunity. And you can be very, very blindsided by the opportunities that are starting to come through. So we have this Seven of Swords. It is a betrayal card. I'm not going to harp on the betrayal thing anymore, but it is a part of that. Whenever it comes to Jupiter in the 7th, partnerships are very important with Jupiter in the 7th. And it is very much for certain placements. It is like a husband placement. And that means like somebody that offers a support, offers the green light energy that we need, that we can trust. And they can either, for men, trigger that vulnerability that I would be willing to be a husband for this person, or for women, it's like the person that we are connecting to, they feel like they are husband material, considering we have this Emperor card and we are going to have this Seven of Coins. Like I said, the start of this energy could be like you can have someone that either triggers all of the insecurities that you realize I cannot trust them, they cannot be a part of my family, no, 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 and it's like boom, I can't do this anymore. And it creates an idea of a different path. Now I've got the Two of Wands, hear me out. For other people, it's going to be like they've done something so amazing, so romantic, so kind, so real, so true that it suddenly heals some kind of insecurity. And that doesn't mean that we don't have the flood of emotions like that's the sweetest thing anyone's ever done. That can be real in this full moon just as much as the negative can be there. And it like solidifies a path, the different path that we have been on, the different directions that we have been on, because we have this Two of Wands energy. That's if it's in the romantic sense. For others, the potential of a partner that's coming through. So I'm going to go back to this Emperor card. I'm pulling up an old card with this Two of Wands that we've already talked about. So I'm going to talk about him twice. The opportunity can be blindsiding. Like it's somebody from the past coming up going, hey, I got this opportunity. I got this thing. I got this idea. You should come work here. You should come do this. You could come do this thing. And if we take said opportunity and we go down the new path, so we got the Ace of Wands following the Two of Wands, the potential of income, of prosperity, of wealth over the long run is there because we follow it now with this Nine of Coins vibration. There's something coming to the surface that is going to start to change you guys over the course of the summer. And for some of you, you still got to let some past insecurities go so that way we can really open up and trust that this new potential is there. Whatever it is with the other side, it can be an actual partner, it can be a business partner, it can be a friendship that turns into something more. Like there is something promising with the arrival of Jupiter now in that 7th house of relationships. There is promise. It's just a matter of working through our insecurities and trusting that we can do the new thing. And for some of you, it is a business partner. Saturn in your 4th house of home, life, and family, squaring that Jupiter. It's like, I can trust this person and we can work from home. I can do this business from home. I can do this with them. It's possible to do something with that person. And in the long run, it can speak to financial benefit and financial gain. Who you're connecting with, who you're allowing into your home, what's going on with that other side is very, very important. This first half of the June 8th through June 25th. And it can either show you you can't trust them, or it is going to show you why you should and allow you to heal from certain insecurities from the past. You're all in different places. Okay. Moving along. We're going to get to Aquarius and Aquarius risings. Okay, my loves. In some ways, you guys can be some troublemakers right now, just to be clear. Now, this is a full moon in your 11th house of friends and network and clients and colleagues and community and wanting to connect to people differently in your surroundings. Uranus, your chart ruler, one of them, is making a square to Mars in your 7th house of relationships and partnerships and legal matters. Saturn, your other chart ruler, is going to square Jupiter in your 6th house of health. In a lot of ways, this week, y'all can be the problem. Y'all can also be the solution. And other people can be the problem. And it can finally allow for you to break away from something. The the Uranus-Mars square is the more important one for you guys, I think. Because whenever we started all the volatile energy last summer, it was during the Uranus-Mars conjunction. That kicked off the 9.5, 10 months of volatility. It did. And it has just started to settle down again. And we are finally getting to the point that we can make some decisions to finally close something out, to finally be done with something. And in the Uranus-Mars square, we can finally feel like we can be done with something that should have been done a year ago. Should have been done a while ago. After we can accept whatever is necessary to be done with something, a new thing can begin. A new part of your work, a new part of your routine, a new way that you care for yourself. And that speaks to Jupiter in your 6th. Something different in this area. That Uranus-Mars square feels very, very important because it tells me that whatever is going on with a partner is about to hit a whole different level of beginning, or it is going to finally allow for the decision to happen to close something out, and that leads to the new beginning. Now, for some of you, whatever is going on is going to impact the home life. It is going to impact the kids. It's going to impact your happiness. It is going to impact everyone and everything. But we're at a very different energy in regards to where we are with partners and how an action is going to go from here and how much it is going to help with finally realizing some of the things from the past that did not work out were not missed opportunities, but more so, they were lining you up so you could start to do something differently now. Whether that is finally healing from past trauma, because Pluto in your 1st, this is my natal placement, so I know you guys have been going through waves of stuff with Pluto, can bring up all the old insecurities possible over and over again. It can make you struggle with whether you have worth or not, or it is going to be something that forces you to start taking on confidence and not holding on to other people for longer than you should have. Some decisions are going to happen around this full moon. Is you're going to be like, I can't work with these people anymore. Full moon in the 11th house. I can't work with that person anymore. That Mars-Uranus square. They're not allowed at my home anymore. This isn't going to continue around my home anymore. There is some kind of decision that speaks to, I'm not willing to do something anymore, and making a hard decision that moving forward, we got to go in a new direction. We got to do something new. We got to try something new. For some of you, that is going to be financial. After Uranus is square to Mars, Mars is going to go into your 8th house. Death, debt, taxes, inheritance. Shared assets, shared resources. There's something going to be very financial that starts to pick up after the Uranus-Mars square. So again, by making certain decisions to finally change something, to do something differently, something new can begin with the Fool card. There can be a lot of things that speak to the financial elements. Again, we got that Queen of Coins energy. Mars going into that 8th house can either bring more taxes, debt in the negative sense, or it can bring the potential of money in the positive sense. It depends on the decisions and everything else that you're working with up until this point, just to be clear. That we can start investing in something differently, that we can start moving into this different direction. Something that speaks to our heart's content. So with this Page of Cups energy, we have this Ace of Cups energy. So a lot of this speaks to something very, very positive with the Four of Cups. Now, hear me out. The reason I'm putting the Ace of Cups the Page of Cups and the Four of Cups together. It can impact the kids. It can impact the home life. It can impact the family. By letting something go, it allows for something new. And sometimes the new that finally starts to take shape whenever we're in a place that feels very, very solid in regards to a new partnership, in regards to a new direction, and it is in alignment with where you need to be going from here, it will show you why no other opportunity worked out in the past. And that's why I included that Ace of Cups, Page of Cups with the Four of Cups. The Four of Cups speaks to missed opportunities, crying over spilt milk, crying over whether we did the right things or not. Everything positive and negative has pushed us into a direction to now, the second half of 2025 and all of 2026, of leaning into a new normal and making the decisions to do something different, to do something new, to work with people differently. And a lot of this vibration speaks to, over the course of the summer, going into a new direction for the long term. You'll be making a lot of the decisions because both of your chart rulers, Saturn squared to Jupiter, Uranus is squared to Mars, are very, very heavy in the vibration immediately following this full moon. Most specifically, June 15th. So in some ways, the decisions you're making, you are the problem. Great. Congratulations. We all take a turn. It's fine. Moving along. For Pisces and Pisces risings, oh, my loves, this is a full moon in your 10th house of career, goals, public image for the future. Sometimes it will have to do with fathers and the patrons of the family. Some of you might be dealing with something different, changing around your fathers in this energy. For others, you are seeing something different unfold in regards to your career, and it is going to speak to whether we are going to be personally happy with all of the opportunities and the things that we are going through moving forward. Now, why do I say that? This full moon is in Jupiter's sign. Jupiter is one of your chart rulers, and Jupiter has just moved into your 5th house of love, luck, joy, romance, happiness, and children. Creative endeavors, creative projects. Some of you are going to be doing something different in creative projects in regards to your career. You have a different opportunity to do something that speaks fondly in your heart. And that's a positive way to look at a lot of this energy. For some of you, a new opportunity is coming in regards to your children and what they are going to be doing and what's best for them. And that can still mean making certain decisions falling onto your plate of how you support them and what they're doing. And by supporting them, it makes you happy. It makes you feel good. Now, some of you might be having something come up in regards to, again, fathers or father figures that are going to start to lead to legal matters. Why do I say that? Because there's other things going on besides this full moon. We have Saturn in your 2nd house of money, squaring Jupiter. Some of that financial decisions can be impacting a loved one, positive or negative. Uranus is going to square Mars right before Mars goes into your 7th house of relationships, partnerships, and legal matters. Some of you might be telling somebody a new truth, a new bit of information, a new thing that creates disruption in legal matters, that creates disruptions in partnerships. But for you to be happy and for you to be content and for you to find the things that you desire to find going into this new normal, that means sometimes we have to clear some things out. We got to let some things go. We got to do some things differently. So there is a truth, Ace of Swords, truth, information, something new. It doesn't always have to come out during the full moon. Let's be clear about that. The timeline that we're looking at that's impacting everybody, it is June 8th to June 25th. And we are still at the start of that timeline in this full moon, going from the 10th to the 11th. The truth could have came out already. The new information could have came out already. The paperwork that leads to the legal matters could already be underway. So it might not be completely revealed. It could lead to things that are being underway. And some of you have had to put a lot of work into what's going on, or you're going to be doing a lot of things differently at work to make some things happen. Now, some of you might have some, unexpected positive things in the work life that allow for you to like expand and grow and do some things different, like with the people around you. Some of you, by having certain changes and decisions at the workplace, is now going to create ruffled feathers with the people that you surround yourself with. That might not be a you thing, that just might be an energy thing. But with the Three of Coins, this is a work card. Mars is in your 6th house of health. That can basically be a work house. This is a full moon in your 10th house of career. This is definitely a work house. By you doing something differently, or by you taking an opportunity, you can ruffle feathers with other people. And that doesn't mean that you don't do what you need to do. In fact, the Page of Wands, this is your 3rd card. So we have the Ace of Swords, 3 of Coins, and now the Page of Wands. You're meant to take this path. You're meant to take something on. You're meant to do something differently, because Saturn and Neptune in your 2nd house of money tells me that in a lot of ways, some of the things that are starting to round out and line up for you over the course of this summer means new ways of making money, new ways of earning money. And if you are happy in what you're doing, what is the problem? It's not your problem. It's very likely somebody else's problem. Knight of Swords. Not everybody knows the work that you do as an individual. No, but not everybody knows what you do in your job. And they might have a very skewed way of thinking about what you do, how you do things, how you're working through things. And their version of the truth is what they are going off of with how they are moving forward with something. Whether that is against you, for you, about you, or not about you at all. Like, the dynamics feel like there's an influence that's about to start impacting another person. And depending on how your exchanges go, so now we have the 6 of Coins energy, how they move forward can also be based off of how you fuel the situation. The 6 of Coins is definitely like a give and take card. I give to you, you give back. Like, you get what you receive. What you put into it is how you get measure back. And this 6 of Coins definitely speaks to like that give and take vibration, but it also speaks the potential of opportunity. Now we have this Knight of Cups. Now, again, some of you are going to have to tell someone that they are not going to be that love interest anymore. They are not going to be a part of that dynamic anymore. You're making a judgment call to no longer support them. Are you doing it directly during the full moon? Not necessarily. Some of you might be making that judgment call that, hey, kiddo doesn't want to come to your house this weekend or this summer. Like, they don't want to do this. And that can lead to some legal issues. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. That doesn't mean that we're wrong. If you have valid situations, if things that can be proven and documented, that would be a big thing that I want you guys to start preparing for if you haven't already. Cross your I's, dot your T's, and be prepared for the potential of legal situations that over the course of the summer impact the family. But it is the situations, the decisions, and things that we are doing with right now that are going to impact that are going to lead to that are going to do those things. We're at the starting line. First domino getting flicked. Dot your I's, cross your T's, start covering your ass, document, document, document. And whoever else is involved in your surroundings, document, document, document. Make sure they are doing it too. All the way around. Okay. Okay. That wasn't exactly how I expected that to go for Pisces risings, but that is what came through intuitively. So that's what we're going to go with. Okay. I love and appreciate every single one of you. Remember that whenever it comes to this month, the vibration is like really encompassing like a few weeks. It's June 8th all the way to June 25th. This is a very big starting line that we are making certain decisions that are going to lead to how the rest of the summer is going to go. Make good decisions, make smart decisions, check your ego at the door, humble yourself when you can. Remember, there is a BOGO special going on all of my sessions until June 20th. It is the best deal I will do all year. If you are wanting to book a session with me, I would do that ASAP. Just go to the website and pick a date. It does not have to be in June. I always say, like with those 90-minute sessions, make sure you're actually putting a good gap in between, so at least a month or so. But take advantage of the special while you can, because after June 20th, everything's going back up to full price. I'll talk to everybody very soon. Subscribe.